The third level of the Donkey Kong Country 4 demo takes us out of the desert and into a familiar looking ruin. I can't think of anything else to say. This is part 14 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 4. Twilight Temple is a unique spin on a familiar and sorely underutilized level theme. The ruins were previously only seen in 2 levels, excluding Donkey Kong Land, and there was so much potential in them. Twilight Temple shows us one possible take on the ruins by having the level set just after sundown, in that twilight moment before night. The sky is a deep red, while the ruins itself is a desaturated dark grey. I think it could have been cooler to have the last light of the sun tint the ruins a warmer color, or even like a soft violet to contrast better with the red sky, but it is what it is. Still looks pretty cool too. I also think the enemies should have been a similar level of exposure and saturation to the environment. We've seen it in the caves of the original game, how they match the light levels of the space they're in. It could have made the Kongs, the enemies, and the items look a little less out of place. But all that said, the level looks cool, and it looks like a lot of fun. Rambi shows up fairly early, and while he doesn't stick around long, he does get to cause a lot of damage. There's an invincibility barrel that seems a bit unnecessary, but it's still cool to see it again. The bonus area is another winner, with a simple yet creative destroy them all challenge. The background here is blue, which suits the tile set a lot nicer too. I won't talk about the enemies this time around, but rest assured, there's a lot of them. This level doesn't have any real focus, and it suffers for it. Most of the levels suffer for it. I'm far from an expert, but I feel like they should look at the DKC trilogy and really try and break down what makes each level so good. It's not a coincidence. The developers of the original DKC wanted to make levels that had momentum, that you could run, roll, swing, and bounce through, with various actions linking up in a way that feels organic and spontaneous. Those same devs switched that feeling out for a greater level variety, and an increased emphasis on exploration in DKC2, with, I guess, mixed results. But when you get a closer look at each level, the way they introduce new enemies and gameplay concepts isn't random. They start simple and build upon them as the level progresses. So each level gets more challenging as it goes on, without ever feeling like the player's in over their head. This game, while not bad by any stretch, just throws everything at the wall and hopes something will stick. We could extend this to the demo itself, and how there's no overarching theme across the game's first world. It's worth noting that it's still just a demo, and nothing set in stone, but we go through so many visual themes in such a short space of time that there's no real dynamics or narrative, or for lack of a better word, believability about any of it. I really hope I'm not coming across too harsh on DKC4. I get that it's a fan game, and that making a game like this, let alone one as good as the original DKC trilogy, has got to be much harder than it looks. The bar was set impossibly high, and while expecting anyone to surpass what came before it is asking too much, I'd settle for getting close. And I believe this project, with time, could get close. I don't think I'd be making this series if I didn't feel that way.